Hello and welcome. My name is Michelle. I am your emotional resilience coach, and it is fantastic to have you join me here today. Please don't forget to hit like, subscribe, the notifications button, and as always, please do share. All right, so today I want to speak to you about the fact that you do not need permission to set boundaries, to live your life, to let your light shine, to just be you. You don't need permission. Now, on the outset, our response is generally, yeah, obviously, I know. But if you think about it, and if you have cptsd or you are a codependent, you might just find that even if you've done a lot of work and you have made some great improvements, subconsciously you might still be living from a space of, I need their approval. I need their acceptance. And this is normal. This is not to judge yourself. This is absolutely normal. We do this because of the whole idea of, well, if I don't, then maybe I'm going to be rejected, or I'm going to be abandoned, or I'm going to be thrown out, all right? The survival part of our brain thinks I'm going to die if the tribe does not accept me, all right? So it's very important for us to feel that connection. And in order to feel that connection, sometimes what we do is we think, well, I need people to accept my boundaries, or I need people to give me the thumbs up, or to say it's okay, or however it is I step out of my life, I need people's approval. And I'm not saying that we don't want feedback, because of course we want feedback. We need feedback. We need to think about things, and we need to be flexible, right? By being flexible, we get to grow, we get to try things out. Is this working for me? Isn't it working for me? What can I change? What is good? What isn't good? But we can't live in perpetual fear that we don't take any steps forward, and we don't make any decisions, or we don't do anything for fear of that we might get shut down, that we might get told that we're wrong, or that we might be abandoned or betrayed, or whatever it is that our mind tells us is going to happen to us. We can't live like that. We need to have a little bit of confidence, and we need to take a leap of faith, essentially, and say, hey, this is what I need this to look like right now. And it is negotiable for now, but this is what I need to do, right? Eventually what happens is, after a while, with a lot of trial and error, you will know the topics that are absolutely non-negotiable, all right? So maybe for you, it is you don't want to be around people who gossip. That for you is non-negotiable. Maybe you don't want to be around people who drink excessively. Maybe you have a family member, or you know somebody who, after a couple of drinks, they become aggressive, they pick fights, they look for arguments, they stir trouble. Being around them, particularly in that state, for you is non-negotiable. Maybe for you, you know you need a certain amount of sleep, right? You need to get to bed between this time and that time so you can have the right amount of quality sleep. Anything less than that is non-negotiable. You will know and you will understand those places that you are just not flexible on. And then there will be other areas in your life that you're still trying to figure out, and you're still trying to discover what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And maybe there you'll be willing to be a little more negotiable on, a little more, okay, we can have a conversation around this, right? I think so often we think that once we've set boundaries, they're hard and fast, and not even we can break them. But some things we're going to play around with, especially when dealing with boundaries. It's so tricky because we need to strike the right balance. And what we tend to do is, initially at least, we tend to swing to the other side of the pendulum. So maybe we were just open and everything was acceptable and everything was okay, and whatever you did, whatever you said, all good, no problems. You did everything for everyone, bent over backwards, gave up your time, resources, talents to make sure everybody else around you was happy. And so often what happens when we start with our boundaries is there's so much anger and there's so much resentment that we swing to the other side, and we close off to everything, we shut everything down, and we just now on the other extreme. And if that's happening to you, or you've recognized that maybe you've been in that place, it's not the end of the world, so long as you're open to coming back a little more to the middle and having a little more of a balance. So you can decide things like, what do I want to post on, social media? Maybe you have a friend who's critical about the things that you post and will say, but what did you mean by this? Or what was that? Or maybe, for example, you don't want to go to a function and people are like, but what are you hiding from? Why don't you want to be there? In those particular areas, maybe you have ideas already that are non-negotiable. I don't want to be there because I have to get up early for work the next morning. Or maybe it's something along the lines of, well, I posted this for my reasons and my reasons alone, and if you're going to read anything into it, I'm sorry, but it wasn't about that. Or whatever, it's so broad. There's so many things that can possibly cause contention, might just ruffle feathers, maybe offend someone. And it is so exhausting to constantly live in that place of, I can't show up like that because what if I am misjudged, misunderstood, or whatever? And what we do then is we retreat, we withdraw, we push people away, we hide our lights, and then we still sit with resentments because then we get cross with ourselves and we're like, hey, have your own back, stand up for yourself, say what needs to be said, do what needs to be done, don't listen to other people. And we tend to sway to and fro between these things, and it's perfectly normal. You will find your balance. Part of building a relationship with yourself is understanding and knowing where you are not negotiable because perhaps you've had bad experience in the past. Maybe somebody's coming to stay with you for a while and they have some habits. Maybe they don't pick up their clothes after they have showered. They might leave it all over the bathroom floor. That's something you could maybe overlook, right? You pick your battles. We're not going to fight about that. But maybe if they have more than 2 or 3 drinks, they get a bit nitpicky, and that's non-negotiable. Do you see what I mean? You've got to work out for yourself what is negotiable, what is non-negotiable, and realize that you don't need other people's permission because they're not living your life. They don't have to live your reality. They don't have to wake up with you or live with you. And so I tend to look at people's viewpoints and people's opinions, and I take it from where it comes, and I take heed of, okay, maybe I can look at this area, or maybe I could do better here, or maybe I could try more here, especially if it's affecting other people. But if it's not really affecting anybody and actually the person who's being affected the most is me, then other people's opinions become less of a thing, if that makes sense. Then it's more about, okay, but what is important here for me because this is affecting me. So for example, if you're going to come over and you're going to get drunk and loving and merry and happy, that's amazing, that's cool. But if you're going to come over and you're going to get aggressive and hostile and pick a fight with everybody, that's not so cool, right? We know what it is that we're willing to put up with, and we know what it is we're not willing to put up with. And so part of the whole process of developing a relationship with yourself is really getting to know yourself and getting to know and understand what it is you are going to allow in your life and what it is that you're not. And other people's opinions don't really hold as much weight as your own because you have to live with you. There is no escaping you, right? So if somebody does something and it hurts you or it upsets you or you feel like they're crossing a line, of course, speak up. Speak up. You don't need permission. Speak up. If you want to go to a party and you want to wear a silly hat, but you're worried about other people's opinion, is that going to make you happy? That's going to make you happy? Wear it, right? Whatever it is that you need to do, just kind of do a recheck. Is this going to hurt anybody? If it is, I really need to kind of figure out what's happening here, what my process is, what my motivation is, why I'm doing it. If it's going to hurt me, here is my boundary, right? This can be something really, really sticky that we navigate, but it can also be really rewarding when we start to make headway and we break through a lot of the barriers and we get to that place of having our own back, loving ourselves, loving others, showing up the best way we possibly can. And that is going to change from day to day, depending on our mood, how much sleep we've had, our sugar levels, our hormones, all sorts of things are going on inside us all the time, which is why it is so important for us to just give ourselves a lot of grace, a lot of love. I hope that this resonates. Please do come on over to Emotional Resilience Coach on Instagram. Say hey to me there. If there's anything you'd like to know, please do send me a DM. I love to hear from you. And don't forget to please share. And don't forget to subscribe. Have a most empowered day.